Mission Impossible is a franchise known for the most absurd stunts in cinema history. Tom Cruise literally puts his life on the line for our enjoyment, and with the franchise sadly seemingly being over after the final reckoning, I want to rank the best stunts of the Mission Impossible franchise. I've made a list of the 13 stunts I want to talk about the most, but there are just so many that I can't talk about every single one, from the Fiat 500 chase to speed flying. Even if I don't talk about your favorite stunt in this video, I would love to hear all of your thoughts on your favorite stunts in the franchise and where you think this franchise stacks up against the other greatest action franchises of our generation. Let me know all of your thoughts in the comments down below. But without wasting more time, let's get right into it. The tiers we have today are meh, good, great, and best of the best. Usually I have a bad tier, but I don't think there's a single bad stunt in this entire franchise. Starting it off with the Burj Khalifa climb. This one is from Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol, and this one is going in best of the best. I genuinely do think that not only is this a crazy death-defying stunt, but after you see pictures that bystanders took of Tom Cruise just like flailing off the Burj Khalifa as he's trying to run across the side of it and jump over into a window, it is absolutely insane. It really puts into perspective, or as much perspective as we can get as the audience, as to how much really went into this stunt. And then we have the knife fight from Mission Impossible 2, and this one is gonna go in meh. This will probably be really the only stunt that goes in meh. And the only reason I put it in meh, and honestly, I know you guys might be confused as to why I even consider this a stunt, because, you know, most of it is hand-to-hand combat, but the knife was actually that close to his eye, and it was a real knife. Tom Cruise could have really lost an eye in this, and I would consider this a stunt. I know there are other stunts like that speed flying stuff and the Fiat 500 and the Shanghai jump. All of those things are absolutely absurd, but those aren't the biggest stunts in their respective films, so I didn't really want to include them. And then we have the motocross jump from Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1, and I think this is going to go at the very top of great. I'm going to try to limit best of the best to about 3 or 4 stunts, because if I don't, then everything is going to go in best of the best. I think this motocross jump is absolutely phenomenal. I am kind of merging this motocross jump and then the speed flying. They did show 90% of this stunt in all of the promotional material, whereas with that plane sequence, which we'll talk about at the end of this video, they barely showed us anything, and I absolutely love that. But I definitely think that this is going to go down as one of the most underrated stunts of the franchise when it's all said and done, just because of the pure calculation it takes, because they built that ramp from scratch on the edge of a cliff where he actually did jump off of it. It's absurd work, and I feel like more people need to talk about this stunt. And then we have the London chase scene from Mission Impossible Fallout. This one is going to go in great as well. I would pretty much consider great in this video to be like a 9 out of 10 stunt, because there's just going to be so many that are in these top 2 tiers. Even a meh stunt in this franchise is like an 8.5 out of 10, so I don't even know what I'm trying to rank here. But anyways, the reason I'm considering this a stunt, and obviously not like the train jumping stuff and Shanghai jumping stuff and all these other insane batshit crazy things going on in the franchise, is I think this one is a specific case of there is so much tension going on in Fallout, and I think after the Halo jump, the movie basically just doesn't stop. It just keeps on going. I just rewatched Fallout after watching the final reckoning because I was so Mission Impossible pilled, and this scene had me so glued to my seat. I totally forgot that he even broke his ankle on that jump until I saw it in the movie, and I was like, holy shit, it gave me war flashbacks when we heard the news about this. And then we have the rock climbing scene from Mission Impossible 2. I'm going to put this at good. I could make the case for this to go in meh, just because this isn't really a stunt that has much to do with the plot. He's kind of just rock climbing to be a badass in the beginning of the film, but also it's kind of the highlight of Mission Impossible 2. So I feel like to an extent that automatically makes it a really cool stunt. Next up, we have the Halo jump from Mission Impossible Fallout, and this one is going to go at the very top of best of the best. For a very long time, actually up until a couple of days ago, this was my favorite stunt in all of cinema history, and I think the only reason it's at a little bit of a dilemma right now is because you can tell there is a little bit of CGI cover-up going on with the storm aspect of the Halo jump, but I don't even want to complain about it because the rest of the sequence is absolutely phenomenal. I think it has phenomenal tension in just the storytelling, but it's also just perfectly paced out in terms of how we're moving from one little character piece to another story piece, back to another character piece, propelling us from not only the halo jump, but the auction sequence, the bathroom fight scene, and then the Fallout just doesn't ever stop. The scene is the perfect blend of what Mission Impossible is. It is hilarious, it's also scary, and it makes your heart race, and this isn't even like the peaking action sequence of the movie. I think this action scene is like 40 minutes into the film. And then we have Tom Cruise hanging off of the side of a plane in Rogue Nation. This one is going to go in best of the best as well. I'm going to put it right below the Burj Khalifa climb, just because I feel like a lot of this stunt was just spoiled in the marketing of it. But nevertheless, in my opinion, this is probably the riskiest stunt of the entire franchise, but behind my number one spot, I think. Just thinking about this practically, it is hell. Like you are facing winds of a plane taking off just as a human being. Even in the behind the scenes, you can see he's only tied by one rope into the actual airplane. It just doesn't make any sense. This is one of those where you see a picture of it and you just automatically think it's CGI until you see Tom Cruise's face and you're like, oh yeah, it's Tom Cruise. He probably actually did that. Next up on the list is the underwater heist, I think, from Rogue Nation. I mean, it's a lot going on in this sequence, but I'm going to put this, I'd probably put it right above the chase sequence, right underneath the motocross jump. Tom Cruise held his breath for, I think, over 6 minutes underwater, which is absolutely absurd. This isn't even the only underwater scene of the entire franchise, which the new one in Final Reckoning absolutely blew me away even more than this. I recently rewatched Rogue Nation, and this scene genuinely caused me so much stress, because it's not just him holding his breath for 6 minutes, but he's getting like pummeled by this security rotation device that keeps on hitting him while he's trying to grab the key to unlock the safe and get Benji through the security. It is just so much stuff going on at once, and that's really where this franchise succeeds, in my opinion. Another set piece from Rogue Nation, the motorcycle chase sequence, which I'm not mistaken is like on like a hillside. It's on a cliff. There's like this much margin for air between all of the motorcycles. This one is gonna go, I'm gonna put this in gray as well. I'm gonna put it right above the London chase scene. This scene in IMAX changed my fucking life. I mean, all of Rogue Nation, as you can see, there's like 4 stunts from just Rogue Nation on this list. And then we have the exploding fish tank from Mission Impossible 1, and this one is gonna go at the very top of good. I know this isn't something that's like a super Tom Cruise jumping off of the highest building or scaling the tallest thing you can think of, but I watched a bunch of behind the scenes and did a little bit of research on this movie, and this was actually one of the most like underratedly dangerous stunts that Tom Cruise has ever done in his career, because of just the sheer amount of water used in the scene and the other props and just the hazardous idea of all of this glass breaking and him trying to get away from it. Getting into these last 3, I mean, these are genuinely some of the greatest stunts I've ever seen in my entire life. I might have to break my rule of only 4 stunts in best of the best. We have the helicopter chase scene from Mission Impossible Fallout. This one is also going to go in best of the best. I'm going to put this above him hanging off the side of the plane in Rogue Nation, low-key, because this scene is absolutely insane. Like I said before, just rewatched Fallout, and I totally forgot that he climbs up, he jumps onto the cargo hold, climbs up, falls all the way off, hits the cargo payload at the bottom, slips under it, and then climbs back up and takes over the helicopter. I cannot believe that this is real. And not only is he like climbing up a moving helicopter, but he is traversing through like the tightest mountain canals you've ever seen in your entire life. Like, I think that's what the most underrated part of this stunt, and a stunt which I'll later talk about as well, and even the motorcycle sequences, where it is just such a tight margin of error that it's not even the stunt of him jumping off of something or climbing up something, but just pure skill. Next up, we have the submarine sequence from Mission Impossible, The Final Reckoning. This one is going to go, I'd say, at the top of great. I'd be willing to put it on, I'd actually put it under the motocross sequence, just because I think the motocross sequence is more so like Tom Cruise just doing absolutely batshit insane stuff, and the submarine sequence is more so the technical craft of stunt work. In my opinion, this is really where the technical idea of stunts comes into this franchise. And I know it's obviously in the final film, but it just proves the fact that this film, or this franchise, is willing to take any risk possible. I didn't know this, but once you look at the behind the scenes footage, they built a full like submarine set that rotates with Tom Cruise as he's moving, as the camera is moving, because if you haven't seen the film already, the submarine that he is trying to open up the vault inside of is falling falling down an underwater cliff. So as the submarine is rotating, so is everything inside the submarine, and he's trying to traverse it all while being underwater for real. It's not necessarily a death-defying jumping off the highest building you can think of type of stunt, but there's nothing else going on. It's not being intercut with another sequence. It is purely just Tom Cruise trying to survive. Genuinely one of the most stressed out moments of the entire franchise. I had to include it on this list. But finally is the final stunt of the entire Mission Impossible franchise, from Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning. This one is gonna go at the very top of best of the best. Now, this might be recency bias. Let me know what you guys think of this stunt in the comments down below. But basically, Tom Cruise is not only hanging off of a plane when it's taking off, but he is maneuvering his way into the cockpit, taking over the plane. He's doing a plane chase, just like the helicopter chase sequence, except he's not just like side by side or trying to take down one helicopter. He's trying to jump into the other plane and trying to get, I believe it's called the pill from Gabriel, which is just absolutely absurd. This is easily the most stressed out I've been, and I think this stunt is aided from the fact that it is in the very final movie. And I kind of just went in thinking that Tom Cruise could have died. Like, I really was like, this is possibly the final film of the entire franchise. It's called The Final Reckoning. Maybe this is where he is dead. Like, maybe this is where it's over. So I really felt a sense of risk. And I really did feel like, you know, he might not actually make it out of this alive because of how dangerous this stunt is. But he actually does. I could talk about this stunt forever and ever. It is absolutely phenomenal. One of the greatest feats of filmmaking and stunt work I've ever seen in my entire life. It is a shame that the Oscars are adding a stunt category after this franchise is seemingly wrapped up, because this stunt alone is better than I think any stunt that Hollywood has really given us in the last decade. That wraps up my ranking of my favorite stunts in the Mission Impossible franchise. Again, I didn't include all like 25 plus stunts of the entire franchise over the course of 30 years. So I would love to hear all of your thoughts on your favorite stunts, whether I included in this video or not. Let me know all of your thoughts in the comments down below. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Peace.